I get asked a lot about yoga, and so here is my beginner's guide to start yoga. The first step to start yoga is to ask yourself why. Why do you want to start yoga? Is there a specific reason, or is it just because it's a trend? Do you want to calm your anxiety and reduce stress? Would you like to get fitter, or would you like to get more flexible? These are the few things that you should ask yourself before starting yoga, because this will depend on what kind of yoga you're going to be practicing and the way that you're going to be practicing yoga in general. So just to know why in general you want to be starting with yoga, have a clear intention of what you would like to achieve with it. It could be multiple reasons, it doesn't need to be just one, but it will really help you to have a clear idea of what kind of practice you're going for. So once you know why you want to start yoga, the second step is to know where would you like to practice. Are you someone who likes to practice at home and doesn't have any yoga studio close by, or would you rather train with people and be in some kind of environment where you can also be social at the same time? In my personal experience, I have done both. I've practiced at home and I went to classes. The thing is, when you start yoga, you don't really know much about it. And it's really important that you know things properly before you get too deep into the stretches and different poses that yoga have. So my personal advice would be to start with yoga schools and yoga studios. Go to a class where there is a teacher that will be able to guide you, and so you will be able to discover yoga through a class. I feel also like the energy is different when you go to the class than when you do it at home. It's a very nice experience. It's not just a simple workout. And the advantage of going to yoga schools and yoga studios is that you will be able, first of all, to learn the poses properly, but also you will be able to practice with different teachers, which is something that I would highly recommend, especially in the beginning when you're not sure what you like and what you don't like in terms of yoga. Going through a school, usually they have a lot of different yoga classes and a lot of different teachers, and that will really help you have a wider range of idea about yoga and what it can be and what you like and what you don't like. The second way you can do it is by practicing at home through YouTube videos or apps. There's a lot of content online that you can already practice with and learn with. The only thing is that you won't have someone with you helping you in case you are not being aligned, or if you're not doing the pause properly, even though it might be really well explained on screen. That's why I recommend yoga studios. But practicing at home is a really good practice to implement in your routine. It builds some discipline. You can do it at any time of the day. You don't have to suit to a certain schedule. You can also maybe listen to your body more, because when you practice at home, you won't be distracted by what other people are doing. I have this, that when I go to the yoga studio, in some classes, sometimes I tend to look at others and compare myself to others. That's when you're pushing maybe yourself a little too hard or not enough. And practicing at home with just yourself will be really good for you to really focus on yourself and do that on your own. Also, when practicing at home, you will need some equipment, so I will talk about that in the next step. But for now, I just wanted to share with you guys my favorite YouTube channels to practice yoga at home. There is a couple, I will link them all down below. The other advantage of practicing at home is that it doesn't cost anything besides maybe the equipment that you might have to purchase. That's definitely gonna be a lot more affordable than going to a studio every week. When it comes to apps, I know there are a lot of apps for practicing yoga. I've never tried any of them to practice yoga at home. I usually do it on YouTube because I can put it on my computer and it's a bigger screen, and I just have been doing like that and it's been working great for me. But I will also link down below an article where it shares some of the most famous and well-ranked yoga apps that's on the market at the moment. Oh, and one more thing about practicing at home is that a lot of the classes online are shorter than the classes you will go when you go to a yoga studio. Most yoga studios, the classes will last in between an hour to 2 hours, 2 and a half. Most of the time it's about an hour to an hour and a half, the classes, but some classes last a lot longer. So when you want to just get a quick practice in, YouTube and practicing at home is a really good option for you. Another way to practice yoga is to go to a retreat. I have never been on a retreat before, but I'm really excited to tell you guys that I'm going on a retreat this coming March. It's a yoga retreat in Morocco. They're offering a really good discount code for you guys. So if you're interested, let me know. Send me a message on Instagram or down here. I will also link the website down below. So if you guys would like to check it out, there's only a few spots left and it would be really nice to hang with some of you guys there. So the retreat is a really good time for you to just focus on your yoga practice. When you go to a retreat, you will have a variety of meditation and yoga and different types of yoga, because you will most likely be practicing yoga a couple times a day. So it allows you to have a more intense practice maybe in the morning to get your sweat in, and then in the evening maybe a more gentle yoga practice to go to sleep and be more calm and relaxed at night. So it's a really nice experience to deepen your practice, but it also could be a really good experience for you to start with yoga, because you will always be able to adapt your level, and it would be like a really intense week for you to learn the basics about yoga. So I don't necessarily recommend that you're an advanced yogi to go to a retreat. Most of the retreats, and especially the one I'm going to, is constructed to allow any level to come to the retreat. And so even if you're completely new to yoga, you will be able to adapt the practices to your level. And same if you're really advanced. Retreats are also great if you are really stressed and have been building up a lot of tension, to just go somewhere and release all of that through yoga and meditation and being in another environment than your home. And it's just a really good experience to be discovering a new place while also practicing health and fitness while you're traveling. As I said, if you have any questions about the yoga retreat I'm going to, I could send you more information about it, and you could potentially come with me, or they are planning a few ones during 2019, so if these dates don't work for you, there are also other availabilities. Another thing that I didn't mention is that you can also practice yoga outside. So you can go to the lake, to the beach, to the mountain. Yoga is something you can practice anywhere, and there are poses that you won't require a yoga mat, so you are really more than welcome to experiment with it and just bring yoga wherever you go. And finally, the last step to start yoga is how. How am I gonna start yoga? What do I need? All of that. First of all, you will need some equipment. It can be very minimal if you are planning on just going to a yoga studio. It depends on your yoga studio, but a lot of them do offer mats. Sometimes you have to pay to rent it, and sometimes it's completely free. So if you're planning on going there a lot, it will be worth it over time to purchase your own and bring it there. Having your own mat will also allow you to practice at home. So that's a really good purchase, I think, in my opinion. I have purchased a really good yoga mat, and it was definitely an expensive purchase for a yoga mat, but it's lifetime guaranteed, and I've been so happy with it, and I would highly recommend you to invest in one if you're practicing yoga regularly. Over time, it's gonna be more than worth the price of it. If you're someone who's traveling a lot, then I would recommend going with a travel mat. Personally, I have a very big mat at home, and that's all I have. I don't have a travel mat. That's something I might be looking into, but for now I just have one that I keep at home, and I usually never bring it to classes. When I go to yoga classes, I take the yoga mats from the studio, and that's how it's been working for me so far. I will also link down below the yoga mat I personally use. They also have sales, so look at those sales. Sometimes they have really good prices on specific colors and designs, so you can check it out if there's anything that interests you. I'm not paid to say any of that. I just really like the yoga mat that I have, and I've been super happy with it. Then another question that I got a lot from you guys is, how long do you practice yoga for, and how often, like how many times a week? So for me, over these 5 years that I've been practicing yoga, it's kind of like changed all the time. I started maybe like once a week, and then I stopped, and then I did it maybe once a month, and then another period I did it every day. So it really depends on where I am, what I feel like doing. You know, in the summer I do a lot of running and cycling, so maybe I won't practice yoga as much as a workout as in the winter. In the winter I like to sweat with yoga and also relax, but I will do more yoga. Whereas in the summer, I use yoga more as like a stretching and strengthening exercise, but not as a proper workout. So that really depends on whether you just want to be practicing yoga to get fit or to relax, or if you are planning to do yoga to complement some other sport that you do. That's the cool thing about yoga, is that you can change your practice all the time, and that's how I've been doing it. Some periods I do it every day for 20 minutes, some periods like right now I do it every day pretty much for like an hour and a half, and that's a lot. I go to hot yoga. So it really depends how you feel and what you really want with yoga, and that comes back to why and why you're doing yoga. I would recommend that you start pretty slow, because yoga will train muscles in your body that you might not have trained in the past with other sports. I'm a triathlete and I thought that I was pretty fit, and I started yoga and I started having pain all over my body. It wasn't like injuries, but definitely soreness. That's why I say also that yoga is great if you want to complement it with some other sport. And then also if you just want to do yoga and do it like, I don't know, 3 times a week or more than that, maybe if you want to do only yoga, then you could alternate between very slow and gentle practices and then very challenging ones on the days that you really want to get a sweat. And then the last thing is to decide whether you want to have a yoga routine where you do every day the same flow. For example, some people like to do that in the morning to get some kind of discipline and get into this flow every day, and they like the repetition, and repetition is really good if you want to progress. But it's also good to alternate things. So maybe you're the kind of person that kind of gets tired of always doing the same things. So maybe it would make more sense for you to try the different yoga classes and then do some at home, and then do some hot yoga to sweat a lot, and then some yin yoga, like very gentle yoga, and alternate between all the types of yoga that you do. Maybe that's more for you. That's really personal, I think, and then it will also evolve as you practice. I have periods where I just practice yoga on my own without videos or guidance. That's really nice because you really listen to your body and decide to focus on whatever poses that make you feel good and poses that you like, or a specific area of your body that you want to stretch. So that's really up to you, but I would say if you're just starting out, learning with a teacher will be super helpful and you will learn a lot. And then once you've kind of acquired the basics, then you can happily practice on your own if you like that as well. So it's very personalized, I said, and it can evolve over time. And then also a lot of you guys ask me what if I'm not flexible? And I used to be the least flexible person I know. I couldn't even touch my feet, like standing with my legs straight when I was like 14. At that age, you should be able to be doing pretty much anything. And I was like 20 centimeters above the ground. I was like really far from touching my feet, and now I can do it without even warming up. Yoga is definitely gonna help you become more flexible, whether you want it or not. And some practices will help you in different areas of your body. So some people are really flexible on the hips, but then they're really not flexible on hamstrings, for example. So you can then also adjust your practice with what you need specifically. But then you definitely don't need to be flexible to do yoga. It will just come by itself. The more you practice it, the easier it's gonna become. So I hope these tips were helpful, and this was a very interesting video for you guys. I really hope I answered most of you guys' questions. And if you have any further question about it, let me know in the comments. If there's anything that I didn't mention and you felt was really meaningful or relevant in that video and I forgot to mention it, let me know down below. So that's it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet and you enjoy watching my videos, and I'll see you guys very soon. Bye!